Hello everyone. You may be wondering why this video is in the wrong orientation, portrait today. It's mostly because I have a bunch of media that I want to share that's already in this particular aspect ratio, but I also wonder maybe this is more convenient for viewers because I don't know how many of you are watching on phones versus computers. Maybe leave a comment, say you like the new aspect ratio or you don't like it. I don't know that I'll really change based on the voting, but maybe I will. I like to listen to people. First, to start with some health updates. I've been doing pretty well since the last video I made. We did travel again this past month. We went to Calgary for my youngest sister's wedding. This is our second time flying since I've been, kind of ill. And I did notice at this time the transfers in the airplane where they moved me on the little skinny wheelchairs and carry me and stuff, they were less painful, even though I think they were still doing the same kind of actions. So I think, some of my joints are maybe tighter. I think I'm a bit stronger. It's not as okay. I still make painful faces. I think my son was concerned. He thought that I looked like I was dying, but the pain levels that I feel were lower. So I think that was good. We were pretty lucky and unlucky. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. We recently had another round of the rituximab infusions. That's 4 infusions over 4 weeks, and they're like 6.5 hours each. This time there was basically the least amount of allergic reaction-like stuff that I've ever had. I think there was one infusion where I might have had one hive on my stomach area that, before we could even get meds to treat it, it was it already faded and they couldn't find it anymore. So that was really good. Everything went smoothly. I didn't have any ankle pain. It went pretty well. We've managed to keep my weight pretty stable. So, I think last time I was talking about how it was getting too heavy and I had to manage my weight. I'd gone from the 120 range up to 160. And we've been able to hold that 160, I think. Pretty sure we have. I mean, I haven't weighed myself on a scale because it's not easy to do that, but I can tell by, Stacy saying, you're very heavy or not heavy. It seems like we're not, it's not becoming too heavy for her to move me. And slowly, still improving in the muscle strength, but it's just very, very slow, very gradual. My swallowing and breathing, my heart, we went to see the cardiologist this week and he said my heart looks really good. He said my blood pressure was a bit low and he even said that I probably should eat more salt to maybe help me have a little bit higher blood pressure. I kind of average 100 over 70. That's usually what shows up when the nurse does my infusions every 3 weeks. Interestingly enough, when we went to see the cardiologist, and the person who checks you in and takes your blood pressure and enters you into the system before the doctor sees you, she took my blood pressure and she said, is your blood pressure normally low? I'm like, yeah, it's 100 over 70. She's like, oh yeah, it came in at 86 over 35. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. But it's in my chart. We didn't retake it. I'm not really sure that I would be able to speak if my blood pressure was 86 over 35. But apparently that's now charted as the blood pressure that I had when I went to see the doctor this week. I don't know if that's going to lead to anything in the future, but it was interesting. I was hoping she would take it again, but unfortunately, that's what's there in my chart. Also, the O2 sats or whatever, they put that little thing on your finger to check your oxygen levels. I was very happy because my pulse, according to that machine, was below 70, and I like it when it's in the 60s. I think it was in the 68, somewhere in that range. That was great, and I had 100 on the O2 sats, so that was good. Yeah, my heart is in good shape, according to the doctor. A little bit about our trip to Canada. So we were supposed to fly during spring break, which was a really nice coincidence. We were supposed to meet Stacy's sister's family, and we haven't seen them for a very long time, since before COVID. They had moved away, and then now they live in Canada, and they were making a trip to see us. We're going to meet them at Lake Louise. It's going to be really fun. And we were supposed to fly out Monday morning and see them Tuesday morning. Or Tuesday afternoon, we're going to get there. And Monday morning, we get a notification that our flight is delayed. An hour later, we get a notification that our flight is canceled, with another notification saying that in 30 minutes, we'll give you an update. In 30 minutes, we get an update saying we're still working on it, with no promise of any future updates. So I call in to Air Canada's service number, and I'm on hold for 3.5 hours, I think. And by the time I get through to the person who picks up the phone and talks to me, she's like, well, I see you've been canceled out of Tampa. We fly out of Tampa. That's our closest major airport. So, well, there were a lot of flights canceled because of weather. They claimed that weather was the reason. I think thunderstorms actually were canceling the flights. So they said, well, we cannot fly you out of Tampa today. It's Monday night already. We cannot fly you out of Tampa tomorrow, in Tuesday. The earliest we can fly you out is Wednesday, but I don't think we can fly you out of Tampa. Can you get to any other airports? Would you like to fly out of Miami or Orlando? I said, well, we really need to get to Canada for the wedding, and Stacy's sister's family is only there until Thursday, so we really need to get there. So, okay, well, we'll fly out of Orlando. And they got us a flight out of Orlando like Wednesday morning at like 10, I think it was at 10. And so we were like, well, do we want to drive to Orlando on Wednesday morning? We would have to leave our house at like 5 or something in the morning to get there, 3 hours before the flight. And we don't know what's going with TSA lines and stuff. Everything's all chaos right now. So we thought, well, I think it would be better for us to go to Orlando on Tuesday and, kind of just make it a bit of a vacation because I'm not working anyway. My time's already been taken off. Let's make a little trip out of it. Let's sleep in Orlando near the airport and then have an easier time Wednesday morning, which turned out to be a good idea because Wednesday was a little chaotic as well. So we visited this place called Mrs. Potato in Orlando, which Stacy's friends had recommended. They had visited Orlando over Christmas. And it was delicious. We ate this rosti. I don't know what it's pronounced. It's like hash browns outside of meat and stuff. I think I have a photo here. Very delicious, very good service. It was quite yummy. And so we fly out of Orlando on Wednesday morning, which is great. We wake up, we eat breakfast in the hotel, we go to the airport. And our flight from Orlando to Montreal, it's pretty smooth. It went all right. We got to Montreal and we're like, well, we have a 4-hour layover, which is great because we have to go through customs. We don't want to rush. Maybe we need to use the bathroom. Let's make everything work out. So we get to Montreal and I look and I see that the flight from Montreal to Calgary is the incoming inbound flight is early. Great, it's coming early. But it's at the other side of the airport and it has a taxi around. And for some reason, it is taking a very long time to get to our gate. And they're not really they're kind of late. Now it's been delayed, the flight has been delayed. And we went to talk to the person at the gate and said, hey, I need help getting into the airplane. I hope that the wheelchair and the staff will be available. And he was kind of stressed out, kind of dismissing us, saying, we're not boarding yet, go sit down. So we sat down, we didn't try to, talk more. And when it was time to board the plane, and it was already a bit late, we went down the whatever the tunnel thing, the gate, I don't know what that thing is called. And we get to the airport, to the plane, sorry, the door, right? And there's no wheelchair there. So the staff who's walking with me, he's like, where's the wheelchair? He's like, I don't know. So he's calling back, and they're like, where's the wheelchair? Where are the staff? And they're waiting. And we're waiting there right next to the airplane door. And this is in Montreal, it's cold. It's like -5 Celsius or something today. There's actually a heater right outside the airplane door. It's in the ceiling of that gate thing, and it's blowing down. And I am parked directly underneath that fan. It's blowing like 95 degrees Fahrenheit or something. It's very, very hot. And I didn't want to cause a scene. I don't want to cause trouble. So I'm just sitting there, envisioning myself as an ice cube. I wasn't sweating because I feel like I have good ability to regulate my body temperature. But it was very hot. It was very hot. I sit there waiting. And there's this line of elderly ladies. And they're like the handicapped people, but they're not as handicapped as me. They can walk. They just want to get on the plane earlier, and they're like lined up, trying to push through. Because they're like, we need to get on the plane right now, but no one's allowed on the plane until I'm on the plane because like moving me is dangerous, and they don't want people in the aisles, and there's no clearance. Like the wheelchair is basically almost hitting the armrest as it goes down the aisle. Right? So they always make sure that my chair goes down first. So we wait there for like half an hour. There's no chair. And finally, it shows up, and they load me on the plane. And then all the other people load in, and we're late, and we push back from the gate, and then we stop after like 10 meters. And we sit there for like half an hour, 40 minutes. And they tell us, when they were towing the plane around the airport, there's some damage to the tow bar, and they've inspected our landing gear, and everything's fine. So now our plane has been delayed by like an hour and a half total. And I'm looking at the Air Canada app, and I have a photo of this here. Again, this is a portrait mode aspect ratio. And it shows the official reason for the delay of the plane. It says, I can't quote it because I'm looking at it right now, but basically, extra time was required to help passengers who required extra assistance. So they were blaming me for the delay of the plane. However, I was only responsible for, none of it really. The chair wasn't there. And more time was spent waiting for the mechanical inspection, but it was listed as assistance of passengers who needed extra help. So, it's funny, but it makes me question what was the real reason of our other flight cancellation. Because one of the things we heard from the Air Canada support person when we called was that we don't get compensation for flights that are canceled because of weather. Because we had asked, can you comp us a night in Orlando, because now we have to go to a different city just to fly. But she said no, because it's weather, we don't really give compensation for that. So that was unfortunate. So anyway, we made it to Calgary. Unfortunately, we missed most of the time with Stacy's sister's family, but we did spend a Thursday with them. We had some wonderful Texas barbecue in Calgary. I thought there would be Calgary barbecue, but it was really good. It was really good Texas barbecue. The burnt ends were really good. There's a photo here of that as well, I think. And, we had a good time at Lake Louise. We have a photo also of us going to Lake Louise. We ended up going to Lake Louise after the wedding instead of before, because when our flights were delayed by 2 days, they gave us 2 days on the end of our trip. So we spent those days in Lake Louise instead, and it was really nice that the hotel, let us move our days. And even the Lake Louise, like the kids were doing like tubing and gondola stuff, and they let us shift those tickets, even though they were bought for a specific day. They let us use them when we were there. The hotel was really neat too. They had smoked salmon in their breakfast. It was a nice breakfast. I guess it was also more expensive, but anyway, we had really great weather. There's a thing in Calgary called the Chinook. I didn't know about this. If you people are from Calgary, anyone, you would know what a Chinook is, but it's a special weather phenomenon that only applies to Calgary. And it's really weird because I don't really understand how it works, but basically the ocean air that goes over the Rockies, when it goes into Calgary, and just Calgary, it doesn't apply to Edmonton or, the other cities around there, Banff, doesn't matter. Only Calgary, when that air, certain times of the winter, it happens, every so often. It happened while we were in Calgary, which was amazing, before the wedding. The air goes up over the Rockies, it loses all its precipitation, and then it warms up as it comes down the mountain into Calgary. And it doesn't just warm up a little bit. The locals were telling us, my sister was telling us, that it's like 30 degrees Celsius warmer when the Chinook is happening. So the day before we went to Calgary, the temperature in Calgary was like -5, I think, Celsius. And the day that we were there and we were eating the barbecue, the temperature was +17 Celsius. And it was a lovely spring day. We were outside walking around. The kids were jumping on, the leftover ice because they had not played in snow before. But it was really nice. The Chinook was really nice when we were there. It made for nice traveling in Calgary. It wasn't rainy. It wasn't cold. And when we went to Lake Louise, it was really cold those days, which was good because the kids wanted to play in snow. Actually, all they wanted to do was play in snow. So they spent a very large amount of time playing in snow, like behind the hotel, like next to the parking lot. They didn't really want to go to other places. They just wanted to play in the snow. So one of the things that I've figured out recently, and we really invite people to come visit us here in Florida, friends, family. We had 2 sets of visitors this past Christmas, and it was really fun to have them visiting with us. One of the things that I do have difficulty with is people always ask me when they're coming, hey, is there anything you missed from Vancouver or Canada that you want us to bring? And there are things that we miss, but they're usually not easy to bring, right? Like my kids like ketchup chips and crispers, and bringing chips on a plane it takes up a lot of space, and they expand and they might pop in the airplane or deflate. It's not fun. And I figured out what it is that I want for next time. If any of you are coming to visit, I figured out what it is. It's not expensive, and I think it's pretty easy to bring. The other thing too is like a lot of people come to visit us, they go on cruises first. So whatever it is they're bringing, they have to lug with them for like a week before they see us. And I don't want to be inconvenient. So the thing that I miss a lot, and I've missed it for some time, is ifu noodles. So when I was growing up in Vancouver, I think through college time, I've attended many Chinese banquet weddings, 20, 30, I don't know, a lot. I feel like it's very, very many. And the 9th course or whatever, near the end, they come out with a fried rice and the ifu noodles, and then they put them in bowls. And most people are not eating anymore because they're very full from all the other previous courses. In fact, I think this course is really just one of the reasons you have the fried rice and the ifu noodle course is to make sure nobody goes home hungry. I always eat at least 3 bowls of stuff there, maybe 3 of noodles and 2 of rice. I don't know, I eat a lot. And I don't know that it's because I'm still hungry. I think part of me is just trying to be macho or prove that I can eat a lot or something. I do really enjoy the flavor of the ifu noodles, but I always eat a lot of them. I make a show of it at my table. I guess I'm some kind of attention hog or something. But since we moved, I was like, I miss those noodles. And, like 10 years ago, I tried to make them. The recipe itself is not that hard. The sauce, the mushrooms, the green onions and stuff. Most of the ingredients are pretty basic. But the noodles are very special. They're like, they're spongy. There's a texture to them that's very special that you can't just use other noodles. Like we would go through the Asian grocery store. I couldn't find them. I looked online. What are they called? I couldn't find the right noodle. I found ones that were similar or looked similar, but they're not right. You know, they're if you've had these noodles, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I finally found the correct noodle on Amazon, eBay, whatever. Recently, I found that they do sell the exact noodle that you need. And I have a picture of it here, I think. There's different brands. And they sell on eBay or Amazon for like $40 for one pack of noodles. I thought it was like a box of 10 or something. But no, it's like one pack. And I'm like, I can't pay $40 for a pack of noodles. And I was like, how do people like serve these? Like, well, they're too expensive. And I found out that in Canada, at least in Vancouver, TNT, or Calgary too, I guess now, they do sell the same noodles. And they're only $6 for a single pack. I'm like, great. One pack of noodles for $6. This is great. When we go to Calgary, we'll get some. And so this is what we did. But for those of you who plan to come visit us, the price of admission to my house now is one pack of these noodles because it's easy to pack. It's a dry good. You can squish it. You know, it's hard. It keeps. It's easy to bring with you. I hope. I don't know. Maybe I'm still too demanding. If so, I apologize for my demandingness. So anyway, we bought these noodles. We were at my sister's place and we didn't have a lot of time. And she has like these benefits for like Instacart discounts and stuff. So we're like, oh, let's just order Instacart. It arrived at the house and it wasn't exactly what I expected. So here's a photo or a little video of my daughter holding up a pack of the noodles. They're a little bit larger than I thought they were. We now refer to them as the cake of noodles. It's quite crazy, as you can see. So yes, they are a little bit bigger than I thought, but hopefully that still will fit in luggage of people who want to visit us. If not, you can still come. You don't have to bring the noodles. So anyways, lastly, I think I'm going to go into a little bit of my 3D printing because I said I was going to talk about it. So we've been modeling a lot of different things and printing different things. And I finally launched my Etsy store to try to sell some of the products that I'm creating. And I was like, well, how do I advertise this? I was like, well, I guess I should make Instagram videos because it seems like that's the way to market things. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to make an Instagram video because I'm not on Instagram. I don't really use Facebook much. It drives Stacy a little bit bonkers because, you know, she'll send me reels and I'm like, I don't know how to watch these. They don't load properly on my phone. I'm not logged in. I don't have the app. Lots of issues like that. But anyway, now I'm on Instagram. I created this video. It's okay. It's not great. I think my next video will be better than this one. But here comes an ad for my first product. If you have friends that play video games, have consoles, please tell them about these spectacular mounts. And if there are other mounts for different console systems that you guys think I should make, and I am making more, I'll be releasing them over time. I have to have content to release, but maybe it'll bump it up earlier in the queue if there are some that some of you want sooner than later. That is all. I think, again, thank you for watching. I will be making more videos, obviously, at some point. And until next time.